You know, so I think
through this mentorship program, through the mentorship.
Well, through anything. I mean, what we say in PINS, if you're a new author, and you could be 40 and a new author, tell us. I mean, everybody knows what we say. What we're saying is that we're wanting to encourage young black writers, right? Those who we're going to give the most attention to. But anybody who wants to get publishing, we're a journal, we're happy to help you publish. Send us your stuff and tell us that. We'll be still tough on you to make you work well, but what we do is that we say to the referees, this is a new guy. Be helpful. Yeah. And we have a policy at PINS. I don't accept comments from referees where they say, this is the biggest load of rubbish I've ever read, this person doesn't know what they're talking about. I say, if you think the thing is appalling, say it very carefully in a paragraph. And I, as the editor, it's bad enough the person being told that their paper is rejected. Yeah. You don't have to insult them, right? So we don't tolerate that at any level. But what we're saying is that if it's a new author, then we're asking the referees to be more elaborate. And we're asking them another thing, is to say, would you, if the paper is revisable, be prepared to help the guy via email? And they all said yes. So that one editor will take that responsibility, and we try to get an external referee. So that if your paper is submitted to us and we say, no, look, it's got potential here, but you're trying to do too much, fix it this way, thin this out, and then you can chat to us, then you resubmit it, and usually it gets published. So, that's what we're doing. But that's not our problem. I mean, we get too few people taking up that mentorship thing. Our problem is how little critical writing is happening at the moment, actually. And it's, I've got a bird's eye view as the editor because I read every single thing that comes in. But what that means is that a lot of people think that social analysis means just giving a mild social context. So I'm often writing back to them to say, this is too descriptive, it's too general. You need to push the social connections here. You need to push what this means socially. You can't just, the fact that this is social, you think that that's good enough. It's not. You must push it. If you want us to think about publishing us, push it in this direction, push it in that direction. It's too on the surface. You're not going anywhere with it. So there's quite a lot of that. There's that people are choosing social content and not social analysis. So something is social. So there's a lot of AIDS work which is social, but there's no social theory to it. There's no social push to it. There's no challenge. There's no critical perspective, and there's no politics. So I think psychology is, let me use this label because I'm still a Marxist, and I mean it in that way, not as a swear word. I think that psychology in South Africa, a lot of university psychology, a lot of the training of psychologists, especially professional psychologists, the practice of psychology, I think is incredibly bourgeois, is about kind of social guilt of the underclasses and protecting themselves as a bunch of practitioners. I don't expect them all to be revolutionaries. I'm not idealistically insane yet. I'll be that way when I get senile. But it's, I don't think it's moved forward. I mean, there are individuals. Let me not say that everybody's doing decent work. There are individuals, but they would have been there in any case. If one was expecting more of a groundswell post-apartheid, it swelled up for a very short period of time, I'm sorry to say, and then flattened out. So I think things are looking quite bleak. And some of their work is quite banal, quite boring. I mean, it's like a neo-positivism, and PINS doesn't have this problem. People, I don't know where they misinterpret it from, is that we're only a qualitative journal. I've said to them, go and look, we've published quantitative work. Most of the people who are in critical studies tend to be qualitative. That's how it goes. I said, but that's not our line. And what's happening now is that people are presenting their data, whether it's qualitative or quantitative, and just present the data. So it's like an empiricism, and without engaging it and tearing it apart. I mean, I think some of it's because they're new, and the one person wrote back to me and said, "Oh, thanks, you gave a fantastic coordinating report and the referees' reports were helpful. I'm really going to work on it." I said, "Oh, well, good luck. Yeah, that's nice. We like to hear that, you know." Precisely because I said, don't be so apologetic. Don't be so nervous of your data. You've got interesting data. But you must make the data shout. The data's whispering now. You know, you must bring it to life. You know, so yeah, that's what, you know, I do think psychology is quite conservative.
And the pins, and it's not a kind of journal that has a theme. So you are welcoming of.
PINS is a general journal, but we have run special themes, as you will see if you've looked back at some issues. There was a special issue on AIDS, there was a special issue on critical psychology. Kevin did guest edited a special issue on racism. So we have focused on, years ago I did one of the first special issues on psychoanalysis and social issues, number 15 or something. So we do that. That's partly a survival strategy, and it's also a way, we did that one on the apartheid archive. So people approach us. We did the two on masculinity. So where appropriate, where people want to approach us, Peace Kagua from Wits is one of the editors. She had mentioned doing a special issue on education, so that might still happen. So where people have a thing that they want to focus on and have an avenue for it, and it relieves me of some work, because I mean, I read the stuff and I just have to monitor that it keeps to the PINS guidelines and so on. But you know, it's usually guest editors. Sometimes it's been me with somebody else, but that apartheid archive one was 3 other people. You know. So yeah, if people want a theme and it's within what is acceptable to PINS, they can run with it.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah, but otherwise, if there are no themes, then we just publish. So the current number that I'm putting together, which should be out at the end of next month, doesn't have a theme really.
So it's a general. I think we've kind of ran out of time, and it's a Friday. Great. So Grahame, one last question. What is Grahame doing after retirement? What are you currently busy with?
I finished at the end of last year here, and I'm an honorary associate of the university. That's why I have this office. I was just lucky to have this office. You don't automatically get an office, but it's all the staff offices are double the size. So it was a small one next to the toilets. So maybe that's saying something about me. But it suits me, you know, and I can keep resources. You know, it's a very noisy fire door, that you have to whack to close the thing.
So it's a fire door and toilet.
Yeah. So I keep an association with the university, which allows me access to all the resources. And the most important thing is that this university, which is different from others, if you publish in a recognized journal, you get 25,000 Rand into your research account, which you can do with what you like in terms of research. You can buy laptops, you can buy books, journals, whatever. Conferences, I went to the Mexico one on Marxism and psychology out of that money. So it allows me to have access to that, and also I supervise postgraduate students. You know, I might do some. I said to them if they're really stuck, I could do some postgraduate seminars, but I'm really not interested in lecturing undergrads. You know, it's just, there are just too many. There are too little resources. So you just, you know, I've bled enough marking tons of essays until them at night oil. So I'm not interested in doing that. So that's what I'm doing in terms of the association with the university. I'm putting much more time and effort into PINS, so you'll notice it next year when we launch the new website, which I'll tell Martin about when I email him over the weekend now. I've contracted some people and he'll be delighted to be released on it, so it's going to look very, very sexy, very, very, and it will have the full set of PINS from the beginning. From one. We've been uploading from the latest and we've got to 21. So I've got a guy coming to do the rest. To take it all the way back. So the full set will be available on
Yeah, I think it is an interesting piece of work. It shouldn't really be lost in memory.
Yeah, no. So that will be good in terms of a much more interactive and a nicer looking space. I mean, Martin put it together just so that we had a presence, so it's functional.
Yeah.
But you know, just to kind of, we've got some extra money in pins, so I thought, well, let's spend it on doing a really nice version of the website and take it from there. So that's keeping me quite busy. And then the other thing that I'm particularly concerned to do is just to keep writing. You know, so I've been writing quite a bit this year. I quite like doing complicated review essays. Yeah, you know, getting a couple of difficult books around a theme and then writing a paper on that as opposed to just a book review. So I'm writing quite a lot of book reviews. I've done quite a few this year. I'm writing quite a few papers. I usually went and gave a conference paper in Mexico. I hadn't given a conference paper. Yeah, the last time I gave a conference paper was 6 years ago.
Wow.
Yeah.
You really don't like traveling, eh?
No, I like the traveling. I just don't like. There's just something I just kind of ran out of. You know, there was a period of time where I just gave I was forever at some. I was doing a couple of conferences in South Africa and abroad a year. You know, and I just said I'm getting sick of hearing myself talk. You know. So yeah. So I'm busy. I want to contact Manganya about some joint ideas, you know, and he seems to be keen too, you know. So.
And also contact Blake Zimandi.
Well, I have contacted him. You know, a couple of us were in a reading group with him. So last year in December, when he happened to be in Durban for some function, he had a free Friday night, so we went and had supper with him.
Okay.
Staying at the Edward with his bodyguards. Yeah. He's a contradiction, that man. Because you know his nickname is because he's clever. When he was, you know his name is E.B. Nzamande. Emmanuel, that's his Christian name. Bonginkosi Nzamande, right? That's what you'll find on his birth certificate. When he was at when he was at school, he was so clever that all his friends said, "You are sharp as E-Blade." So that became his nickname, Blade. Blade Nzamande. Yeah, and he's clever. You know.